Just gonna tack on a little extra bonus for everybody. Thought you guys would appreciate this funny going on up here. This is my Tesla cat. She's goofy. And she took a flying jump from all the way down the counter, landed on my back, and she has been up here like a goddamn parrot for like 35 minutes. Oh, she's gonna tell me she loves me. I love you too, Tessie. Yeah, real normal cat. Hey everyone, so this is the much anticipated, much delayed questions and answers video related to the Reddit post about my little brother Dewey, or Andrew, take your picks, Make-A-Wish trip, and a particular entitled parent incident that happened during said trip. I've tried to film this like 8 times now, not had the best of luck, and it finally dawned on me that I should share some more of my memories with you guys as we do this. So for the next 20 or 30 minutes, you're going to get my old home movies. What you're seeing right now is actually all of us at the local amusement park. That is my dad with the big bushy beard and Dewey on his lap. And then me and my older brother also in that section right there with him. But that was the amusement park that Dewey was so in love with that inspired the idea to go to Disney with his wish trip. So yeah, so this trip happened about 1 year before the Make-A-Wish trip did, meaning that Dewey was 4 in the videos that you're watching. So my plan from here on out is that you guys are going to see some videos. I'm going to answer your questions. I may butt in on myself and stop with the questions briefly here and there, just to kind of tell you guys what you're seeing on your screen. But other than that, you know, I'm personally enjoying watching all the videos. I hope you guys are too. So let's do this thing. So the first thing I wanted to address was some people were deeply insulted, I guess on my family's behalf. I'm not really sure there, about how the hostess phrased everything. The hostess was basically getting at the point of, well, if you think you need to go in front of this critically ill child who's here with Make-A-Wish, then clearly your child's going to drop dead any second now. Oh, they're not? Well, then why don't you go be happy about that and leave us alone? So, yeah, I mean, she was definitely upset. I have a feeling she dealt with that kind of entitlement a lot. Although, honestly, it was never hidden from us that Dewey was terminal. Our parents were told to never hide that from us, and they made sure we knew. I mean, obviously our knowledge was age appropriate, but we were very well aware that one day Dewey would go to the hospital and never come home. One question I've had a lot of was just timeline. And I think I kind of confused people because I was talking about multiple different children's ages, and I apologize for any confusion I caused anybody. Just to go through Andrew's immediate ages as everything happened. His brain injury occurred when he was 6 months old. His first seizure was in under an hour after the brain injury. So the results of the brain injury were very obvious very quickly. In the beginning, they thought he could eventually recover. It took a year or 2 for them to realize, no, this was permanent. And then he was probably 3 before they really realized it was likely to be terminal. The videos you're watching, he was 4 in a lot of these videos, and 7 in the ones where he looks older, which are later on in this video. But so he was, like I said, about 3 or so by the time we realized he was really terminal. And then he was probably about 4 when the cystic fibrosis thing came up. And he was diagnosed by the Christmas that you're seeing. This Christmas that you're seeing right now, he was 4.5. And he would have just received his cystic fibrosis diagnosis. And I knew that for sure because there are no more ashtrays in my grandparents' house. And my grandmother quit smoking the day the diagnosis came through. And she made my grandfather stop smoking in the house the very same day. He kept smoking for another 20 years or so, but he no longer smoked inside the house. But so when Andrew was 5, we went on the Make-A-Wish trip. That was shortly after his 5th birthday. He wound up passing away when he was 10. When we went on the Make-A-Wish trip, Andrew was, like I said, 5. That meant I was 7 at that time, and our older brother was 10 years old. And then when Andrew passed away, Andrew was 10. I would have been 12 when Andrew died, and our older brother was 15. So, all of that's kind of drilled into your head. There are things I don't remember, but I don't think I'll ever forget some of those details. There's just some things that never leave your brain. And now I'm going to try very hard not to cry, and we're not going to discuss certain things right now. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm trying my best. I've had a little bit too much grief in the last year. A very dear family friend's daughter who was disabled passed away about 6 months ago. And then, as anybody who's been watching my videos can notice, my neighbor's home burned down 2 weeks ago, and I saw the injured before they were taken away by ambulance, following an explosion. So they had shrapnel wounds, and it was just, it wasn't pretty. But so I'm having a bit of a rough time of it lately. So we're going to skip over certain things so that I don't turn into a sobbing mess, which is part of why it's taken so long to make this video, and I apologize for that, you guys. You guys have been so patient. Thank you. Here we're going to move on to his 7th birthday party, and right there, that little girl being picked up is actually one of my subscribers, and she is of legal drinking age, so that should tell you how long ago this was. Her little brother will be on the screen in just a moment. He's a little tiny blonde. He couldn't have been more than 3 in this. There he is right behind me. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there for you. You know who you are. But here's Dewey playing in our backyard. This was, various parts of his 7th birthday. One day we had over my mom's family. One day it was just my grandparents. I think I've kind of flipped back and forth on the videos. It's all the same difference. You can see that Dewey was very floppy. Part of his health issues was what they called low tone. And low muscle tone doesn't necessarily mean there's no strength. If he really wanted something, he could grab it and pull it. Like he could, he had some strength in his arms. But when it came down to the involuntary things, the things that you're not consciously thinking about, like walking or holding yourself upright, he wasn't so good at that. His muscles just didn't do that very well. And you'll see him playing in the sprinkler later, and you'll notice how poorly he's walking. And that's because he had on water shoes instead of his heavy gym shoes and his big heavy leg braces. Those big leg braces on his lower legs were his savior. They kept him walking so much better. So let me see here. We're kind of going through the timeline. So let me think, when did he get his first leg braces? He would have been 4 or 5 when he got his first leg braces, because he had them on our first trip to Disney. So he must have just gotten them right around his 5th birthday. So obviously the trip itself happened when he was 5, and then he lived another 5 years beyond that and passed away just after his 10th birthday. So we made it 10 whole years because he was such a badass. So a lot of people, though, have asked what actually caused his injury in the first place. Because obviously this brain injury was very serious. It wound up taking his life very young. What was the cause? To be completely frank, it was a contaminated vaccine. And I do want to go ahead and just state immediately here, my family is extremely pro-vaccine. Vaccines save lives. What happened to my brother was a 1 in 1 million chance, literally 1 in 1 million. The odds of it happening to you or anyone you know are so infinitesimally small. Vaccines do so much more good than they ever could do in harm. So please, please do not look at Dewey and say, I'm not going to vaccinate. He wouldn't have wanted that. My family wouldn't want that. So please honor our wishes and do not use him as an excuse. But, obviously, like I said, the vaccine was contaminated. It wasn't that, the vaccine itself was bad. There was a mix-up in the factory. The FDA actually stepped in, made the manufacturer pull the vaccine entirely from the market. The vaccine was basically scrapped and completely reformulated in like overdrive. I mean, they pulled it off ridiculously fast, despite the number of studies and stuff they had to go through. The vaccine now has a totally different name. I will not be giving out the old name or the new name. I don't think that's information people necessarily need. Like I said, it's been remade. It's far safer than it was even then. And even then, it was already ridiculously safe. Vaccines are far more likely to save your life than to ever harm you. Also, a question related to that, a lot of people have asked, I hope that doctor got in trouble. Did the doctor get in trouble? No. No doctor did anything wrong. The only wrongdoing was laziness, really, on the part of the factory. It had nothing to do with the physician. My mom continued to take us to that same pediatrician until we moved town a couple years later. And, like I said, he didn't do anything wrong. And he was, honestly, from what I've heard, this is all secondhand, but my mother says that when he found out, he was quite horrified to find out that he had given this vaccine to my brother, even though he had no way of knowing there was a problem with it. So no, nobody was sued, nobody got in trouble, nobody lost their license. And frankly, I think that's all the right thing. I don't think anybody should have gotten in trouble aside from the manufacturer. And Lord, did the FDA put them through hell. So moving back on to, some slightly different, more Dewey-centric topic here. As you can see in this particular clip, he's playing in the sprinkler. He loved playing in water, whether it was a pool, a bathtub, a sprinkler. But if he was actually immersed in water, like in a pool or bathtub, he tended to have seizures really bad pretty quickly after being placed in the water. And there were a couple incidents where he could have potentially drowned if it wasn't for people being, alert and waiting for it to potentially happen. So the best way kind of to let him cool off on a hot day then was the sprinkler, and he just thought it was the greatest. And from there, really, a lot of the questions were more sentimental. So I was asked about my favorite memory, my absolute favorite memory with him. And for me, I'd have to say that was, there were so many of them. One of my all-time favorite memories was just the two of us sitting on the floor in our footy PJs on a Sunday morning while Mom cooked a big breakfast before we all went to Mass. And I would sit right next to him and I'd spread his little blankie out across our laps. He had this little quilted blankie. And I would sit there and read children's books to him, which he loved. He loved being read to. He also loved to take the book and then he'd flip the pages open and pretend like he was reading, and you'd get his babble. He had this funny baby babble. And you'll actually hear it at the end of this. I have a 3.5-minute clip that includes an extensive amount of him speaking and interacting with people, so you can kind of see where his cognitive level was at. And that particular video also happened around the age of 7. So I'm not sure why we have so many videos, though, from the age of 7. I don't know why my grandpa was so video happy that year and not on other years, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll take any videos I can get. Not going to complain. Let's see here. Some other favorite memories. Oh, he would get stuck under the couch. He thought it was hysterical to steal all of our kitchen utensils, especially my mom's tongs. So her cooking dinner most nights started with, "Can somebody go look under the couch for my tongs? I need to be able to grill." And what he was doing is he'd take these kitchen tools whenever he could get his little hands on them. Everything was locked down. He still managed to find his way. And he would take them into the living room and he'd lay down on the floor and he'd turn his head to the side and he'd belly crawl underneath the couch. And then he'd turn his head up right again so he could see, and he'd hide his little treasures back there. You know, you have to have a little treasure cove there. And so he'd hide all his stuff there, but then he could never remember that he had to turn his head back sideways again to get out. So he would just lay there. Sometimes he would thump his legs on the floor, and with those big old AFOs onto his legs, the ankle foot orthotics, and his big leather gym shoes, you could hear that. It like reverberated through the house. And we'd go in there and lift up the couch a bit and pull him out. Or, you know, there would be days where he would just not make any noises when he got stuck. And instead he would just decide, you know what, it's comfy under here. And he'd fall asleep and take a nap. So we found him sleeping with his head under a couch on a semi-routine basis. Pretty comical. Not gonna lie. We always had to pull him back out from under there. He was precocious, but a goober. So we're, you know, precocious really truly is the best word in the world to describe my brother. And then the final question I got asked a lot is, do I miss him? And the answer to that is, hell yes. You know, I miss him every day. He's been gone 19 years, but I still miss his goofy smile and his, you know, his happy ways. And he started every day first thing in the morning, the happiest person you ever saw. He was almost never sad. He was almost never angry. He smiled constantly. And he made everybody's world brighter. And he opened our horizons in ways I don't even know what my life would be like if I hadn't had him. I mean, so many of my friends now are disabled, and to me that means nothing, because it's just like, okay, so it's you know, it's another title, okay, let's go. And then when I became disabled myself, it really wasn't that hard to deal with it. I mean, it was in some ways, obviously. There's always going to be some difficulty making such a big adjustment, going from a teenage athlete to a late teenage gimp is a big change. And it was looking back to his memory and the lessons that he taught me that showed me everything. So he taught me how to live in this world. And next up is going to be the tapes with him speaking. I hope you guys enjoy that segment. I hope you guys stay subscribed. I'm planning to do some more videos as time goes on. Hoping to do some vlogs, some story times, just kind of a wide variety of things. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to make any promises on how long or when I'm going to upload at this stage in the game. I'm still learning how to edit. This video's taken me 4 days to make. So I'm not making promises yet. Hopefully, as I learn more and as I start getting my lupus back under control, I'll be able to, you know, be more accountable to a schedule down the line. But I hope y'all are willing to stick with me during the ups and downs of me starting a channel. You know, love you guys. You guys have been amazing. The support of the Reddit community has meant a lot over the last couple weeks to not just me, but my entire family. My parents have been deeply touched by the messages left on Reddit and on the videos. And, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Bye.
Oh, we haven't sang this song yet. We haven't sang Itsy Bitsy Spider, have we? Itsy Bitsy Spider. Row, 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 row. Row, 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 row. Row, row. The Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
Oh, what? Oh, I'm busy. You gotta get Grandma.
Out
Go
came
get Grandma.
the sun.
Gotta get Grandma. Go get Granny. Boy, this is a close-up.
What do you want? What do you want, Abby? It's all gone. Oh. Oh. God. They used to get up and do it over here. God.
Do it again, Jen.
Oh. God. You're what? Oh, what a big falling baloney. Your mom's insides are going to fall out one of these days. Huh. He says, oh, this is wonderful. I get help and get my back scratched too. Well, it's almost Mom's bedtime. That's what I was just saying. Yeah, it's almost time for Mom to go to bed. Oh. You know, wait till you see what? He's going into something. Everybody trying to come in for a party. Say hello. 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 You need to be over here on the front side of him.
I can't be everywhere at one
Well, then
time.
you should walk around over here. Your legs aren't stationary there, are they? Your grandpa, I don't know if he doesn't think that he can move. Hello, is Andrew there? Hello, Andrew? Oh, hi, how are you?
Janet, I just got him. I'm trying not to get you. I know you don't like to beat him.
Oh, yeah? Are you there? Hello? Hello, are you there? Andrew? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? I think he's cutting off his wind. He's shaking like a leaf. Oh, he's cutting off that wind. Did you go wearing your blue thing because you're wearing your kids now? Oh, I just wore this.